In this lesson, we will be discussing the difference between expressions and equations. So we've been talking so far about expressions, and here we're going to turn and look at what is the difference when we have an equation. So equations are very similar to expressions, except that they include an equal sign. So an equation has an expression on either side of the equal sign, meaning that the two values are the same. So the left-hand side and the right-hand side have the same value. A common word that indicates an equal sign when we have our English sentence is the word is. We have an example here, and we're going to write an equation for each sentence. So 3 more than a number is 15. Now, when I look at this, the first little bit of it, this 3 more than a number, that's very similar to what we had with expressions. So we're going to treat that the same. Now, the part that changes is this part here, is where we have this word is. That is going to show us where in the equation our equal sign goes. So if I'm going to rewrite this one, 3 more than a number is 15. N plus 3 would be 3 more than a number is equals 15. For the second one, 5 less than a number is 7. So a number 5 less than, so minus 5, is 7, so equals 7. This one's a little tricky because it has a different order. So a number subtracted from 5 is 1. So I have that is equals 1, and it's a number subtracted from 5. So this is part of the trickiness. In this case, we're going to have 5 as our starting point, and we're subtracting the number from 5. Now, oftentimes the subtraction, I see this is the one that students get in the order in the wrong. And so always think about what number are you starting with, and then what number are you subtracting. So that's a little bit of a trick you can use to help get those two numbers in the right order. Example D, what number divided by 3 is 10? So n divided by 3 equals 10. We could also have n over 3 is equal to 10. That would be similar. We talked about that in the expressions, writing expressions lesson. And 8 added to 3 times the number is 26. Now this one is a little bit more complicated because we have a few different things going on. So if I were to do this equation, the first thing I would do or deal with is that the is 26. So I would start by doing that and write my equals 26. The next thing I would do is I would look at this. So 8 added to 3 times the number. When I look at that, I have to decide which happened first, the multiplication or the adding. And so if I'm adding to 3 times the number, that tells me that this part here was the part that comes first. So 3 times the number is 3n. Then I'm going to add 8, and that is 26, or equal to 26. So when looking at the above examples, you may notice that there is only one number that we can replace our variable with to ensure that the equation makes sense, where in an expression, we could replace our variable with many different numbers. Now, some of these are a little bit trickier, so this one here would be a little trickier. But if I'm looking at, for example, n minus 5 equals 7, or 5 minus n equals 1, or even this one, n divided by 3 equals 10, you guys should quickly recognize that I can't continue to put just whatever number I want in there and still have it be equal. So we're going to talk about that in another lesson. But for now, all we're going to practice is to write an equation for each sentence. I do not have a large number of questions for you with this one because it is very similar to the first lesson that we did this week on Monday. So the variables and expressions lesson. So if you want more practice, you can definitely go back and do some of those. The only difference that this one does is it adds that equal sign. But we will be working with that as we move forward as well.